All right, I got this Craftsman YT 3000 riding lawnmower. I'll be showing you today how to take the steering rods off and put new ones on. When these tires start wearing out, that means these steering rods are getting wore out, so they don't line up right, and that's what eats your tires up. So that's why I'm going to show you today how to take these off and change them. It's not that easy, but it's going to save you money in the long run. So first thing you want to do, you want to get your mower deck out of the way. I already have my mower deck off. There's brackets, there's pins that you take out here, up front. Take your belt off your pulley. Don't forget your cable that engages it, in which everything hooks into here, and then there's a rod that comes down to here, and then over there for the mower deck. Your belt for your mower deck comes up and over this metal on both sides. Alright, so your mower deck, the front piece would be this rod. We're going to move that out of the way, so it's totally out of the way. Next thing we're going to want to do is we want to take this pulley off here. Which is a 5/8 socket. I recommend to take this off, use an impact, because if you use a ratchet, all this wants to do is just turn, and your motor's just going to let it turn. Now we want to pull this flywheel or this pulley off. There will be belts, a drive belt back here. You want to make sure you put your parking brake on to loosen that belt, so when it comes off there. When you go put it back on, now there's grooves right here. You line up right here when you go put that pulley back on. I'm not putting this back on because this is a park out machine. Now the reason why I had that pulley taken off is because you need to get up in here with a wrench to hold that nut. I have adjustable wrench. I don't have the big enough wrench for this nut, so you just gotta adjust it to your side, or get a wrench that fits the nut. And we're gonna take that nut off here for the steering. And that's why I say we want to take that off, because I fought this many times, and it's just easier to take all this stuff off. Don't forget, this washer goes in between here. So, and then all your parts right here, this all goes back into there. Just like that. It's easier to do it this way to change this rod than trying to fight everything else. Alright, now on these steering rods, we're going to take it off right here. So you will need a 1/2 inch wrench here. And then on top for the nut is 9/16. So we're going to go ahead and get that off. Remember, there's a nut and there's a lock washer right there. And all you got to do is kind of just, once you get your lock washer off, I think I'm going to lose that, but you just wiggle the tire a little bit to get this off, and there you go. That tire's off there now, or that rod's off. Alright, next thing we need to do is right here, where this bolt is, where there's grease dirt, so you'll need a deep well of 5/8. We're going to take that off. And that comes all the way off and just drops out. Remember, that's going to be greasy, so you probably want to have some gloves or something on. And now this is why I dropped this steering gear out because you got to get back behind here to get this off. Make sure your wrench stays on there. And that takes that off. Now, what I did for my steering, if you see, I marked that, and I marked right there to when I go put everything back up, I line them lines back up. Pretty well would give you pretty close to where it needs to be at for your steering when you put everything back on. So now we're going to go ahead and do the next side. Same thing, 1/2 inch wrench. Hold that nut in place, or the bolt in place. Take that nut off. And just wiggle that tire a little bit. And that comes right off. And I'm putting a nut and lock washer back on there so I don't lose them. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take this one off now. And that pretty much takes the whole steering column off now. Go ahead and take this one off too. And then when you go put all your steering rods back on, you start putting all that back on. And then, you know, you put all this in there like this. Start it back on. If you want, you can take the tires off so you ain't got to fight all that weight right there. And that's what I would have done. I should have, but I didn't. And then, you know, you just put all this back on there. Just line everything up. Put it on there. And then when you're done, make sure you grease all this. Because if this ain't greased, they don't swivel very well, and then your steering is very tight. It helps when this is all loose. This is kind of tight right now, so it hasn't been greased in a little while. Alright, so that's how you take that off, and when you're ready to put everything back on, just pretty much the same thing. Just put everything back on. Just do the opposite of what I done. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.